You're the lady. Okay. All right. So not much for housekeeping. A couple of notes. Drop off for the summer show at Riverstones is June 30th. So that's next week. And that's between the hours of 3 and 6. I did post on the members only page, all the rules and everything that go along with that. So if you haven't seen that yet, just pop onto there and take a look at it. Or reach out to me and I can, copy and paste it to you or whatever.
I reiterated that with an event.
Yeah, and Asina just made an event for it too. The opening reception is going to be on Wednesday, July 6th. We decided to push it past the holiday because July 1st is a Friday and a lot of people will be traveling and whatever. So everybody go have your holiday. When you come back, we'll have the opening reception. That's July 6th from 5 to 6:30. Invite your friends and family. And a date has been set for the Star Island trip, and that's going to be July 31st. So if you want to go on that, you need to go on to the link to Isles of Shoals. If the link's not out there already, I'll get it out there for you. Somebody will, and purchase a ticket. And you want to purchase the all-day, the all-day trip. So that's what you're going to want to do, July 31st, because we can't guarantee enough people to get the group rates. And so everybody's sort of on the hook for their own. And if it sells out, it sells out. Like, we don't have any reservations with them because they require us to promise at least 25 people, if I remember right. Which would be a record. So
hey Lisa, do you want to send me the link on that and I'll post it as an event? Lisa, you're on mute.
Still on mute.
Yep, I am. I will send it to you, Asina, the information on it.
Perfect, and I'll put out an event link for that one too.
Okay. Yep.
Thanks.
So yeah, so just a recap of what that is we'll catch the boat out in the morning. We'll be on the island for, I think it was like 6 hours, and we'll catch the boat back to Portsmouth. And anybody who wants will go out for drinks and dinner and stuff after. So that's July 31st. If you want to mark your calendars for that, and then after that, we're into our the fall program, and that's all about storytelling in photography. And we're going to start that off with Charles Cormier speaking September 14th. He's going to be talking about storytelling in photography. And if you don't know who he is the official photographer for Haunted Overload down in Lee. And so if you go and check out his work and just see some of the way he uses storytelling to convey that event, it's really cool. So he's excited to talk about that. So yeah, that's coming up. What's that?
What was his name?
Charles Cormier.
Thank you.
Cormier. So that's it for housekeeping, unless I'm forgetting anything. We're gonna try and get a leadership group meeting probably sometime this month if we can make it happen. So if you have any recommendations or things you want to see, we're really starting to look at next year at this point. So if there's anything that you want to see or you want topics covered or speaker recommendations, get those to us so we can look into them for you or get them scheduled one way or the other. All right, so that's that. Am I missing anything, leadership team? I don't think so. Actually did a pretty good job tonight, I think, for a change. All right.
Good job. High five.
Yeah, so okay, I'm going to share my screen. Everybody can see that?
Yep.
All right, perfect. So Carol, you're up first tonight.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Oh, okay. I'm up first. This wasn't really the shot I was hoping for, but last week, Pat and I went to Bedrock Gardens, and I had my 100 millimeter macro lens on the entire time, and I shot this from a good distance. I was just playing just to see what I could do with a macro lens from that distance. So it's a little bit of motion, not quite what I had in mind, but what we've got.
I mean,
So
it's,
my first instinct on looking at this is that, you know, if we're gonna look at the motion part of it, that with the little water, it's not a waterfall, but a tiny
No.
little waterfall, and just the way that that white kind of splashy motion comes out on top of that green little like emerald pool there, that it looks like a whole like little leaf all by itself, and
Oh, yeah, it does.
it just kind of reflects back onto all of the like very still foliage that's around it, that it's just kind of a nice juxtaposition between like the still greenery and a motion greenery, and that's what is very striking to me.
Kind of looks
Yeah,
like
I
a
would-
feather.
I would maybe crop it in a bit to lose some of these hot spots up here and really draw attention to, you know, what a scene is talking about.
Yeah, we
Let's-
could try that. I think it got
I think that just
pretty
needs to go.
soft, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, Carol, you're your own worst critic.
I know, I
You
am.
are.
Yeah.
I like it
But
better.
definitely,
green.
I have never tried a long exposure with the macro lens before, so it was definitely different.
I'd even pull it back more. I feel like you need some like of those little greeneries that are like right up front. Like if you made it more of a
Just do this.
I mean, still crop it from the top down, but make it more of a panoramic, like a horizontal panoramic.
Yeah, that's nice too.
You have a lot of really good elements in this.
Yeah, with the foreground included, it has like this feeling that you're looking in on a scene.
Mhm.
It's like storytelling.
Yeah, there you go.
I like it.
Thanks.
Was the water that green or is that reflecting off something?
You know, in all honesty, I don't recall. I didn't do anything to make it green, so
It's probably the reflection
from the
from the
mossy rocks,
treetop
maybe,
canopy.
maybe,
Yeah, I don't know.
could be.
I hang it on my wall.
Sold. What size would you like?
Yep, that's the right answer.
It's interesting that all the greens are the same shade of green.
Hmm.
They're everywhere, and it pulls it all together.
You were looking at that same pool as I was. Do you remember if it was that green?
I don't think it gave us the feeling of that, but I think that with all the trees around, I think that they were, I think that everything was reflecting. I don't know that we saw it that much, but I'm sure that the pool had some of that in there, and it just
Yeah,
shows
I
up more
like-
in the film.
It's probably
Pat,
the
I
effect of a
like that
long.
you said that, because that the greens are really hard to match. If you're in on a painting perspective, or if you're doing it on a photography perspective, greens are hard to match. And when you do get greens to all coordinate and all be within the same kind of color tone, that's magic.
Oh, the price just went up. It's magic.
Yeah, I think that green might be the byproduct of the long exposure, because you probably saw
Hey.
reflections of the treetops in the water, but the long exposure is smoothing that out and creating just a tone like that.
How long of exposure was it?
I sent that in the email, but I
No,
don't,
it's right here.
wasn't that long.
1.4 seconds.
wasn't real long.
So about a second and a half.
Those beams of light off to the right with the water.
Mhm.
Was that a question? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the whole thing.
So is that those beams of light evident when you took the picture, or just when they off to the right as the picture with the water just seems to be flowing? Looks like there's a couple.
Looks like there's 3 beams.
Well, yeah, I can't say what was evident to me when I took it. I was hoping I wasn't standing in poison ivy.
Understood.
Yeah, been there before. Yep. All right. Well, the 5-minute timer has gone off about a minute ago.
Wow.
Anybody have anything else for Carol on this one?
I like it.
Yeah, nice job, Carol. I mean, you certainly you nailed the challenge. I mean, it's this nice motion. Definitely a good choice of shutter speed. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Reed Cooper.
Okay, this was just a fun thing that I did. The theme was motion, so I call this transition to light speed, or in my case, or to warp speed. In my case, it's more like warped speed, but I wanted to play with the whole motion thing, so I did 3 images, layered them in, and put a little motion blur between them, and I just, like I said, transition to warp or warp speed.
Yeah, that's creative. I like that. That's really cool.
It was just something to play with. I use this as those are 1/6 of a second. I had my remote control in my hand as I ran across in front, and I tried to hit it 3 times at equal distance across so I could show a transition. But anyway, that's what it is. It was a fun thing, and it's me imitating the Enterprise, right? So
Where were you?
I was where was I? I was up in Ossipee. There's a river. Oh, I can't remember which exit it is, but I was up looking for eagles, and I decided to take the opportunity to do my motion shot.
Always your left foot forward, but your hands are at different angles.
Yeah, I'm running, and so my hands are going in different directions, and I'm trying to push the remote control I have in my hand in the left hand, because that was the closest one to the camera. So it's a little awkward, but
I like that the sneaker in the back shows up as a sneaker, or the hiking boot, and the others just blur more each time.
yeah, because
in
I'm
front of that.
speeding. I mean, like this bundle of muscle and sinew just burst into speed. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
That was funny, wasn't it?
I do love the whole shot. I feel like it could be cropped in if we're really talking about motion. Like, you've got a lot of motion that's like reflective of the color of your clothes into the color of the sky, that I think some of it could be taken off on the right hand side and maybe even brought down just a little bit, but it's so much fun. Like, it's just, you can tell like you just had fun with this shot.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was just fun. I mean, like, I've got pictures of birds in flight and waves with water hanging in the air, but I wanted to do something that tried to show a little bit of motion. The only thing I had was like the panning shots, like we take it the drag strip. So I decided to invent something.
You sure did that.
Clever.
You get some
Oh.
dust spots there, Reed.
Sorry?
Said you got some dust spots.
Quite a lot of them.
Yeah, I shot at f/22. I tried to go. I see them across the top there.
Yeah, you got one on your arm here,
Oh, that's a watch, man. That's my Fitbit.
but it's not on the other arms.
Wow, is that what
Yeah,
we're
well,
doing
I'm
now?
moving too fast for you to see it.
Oh, is that it? You wear your Fitbit at
We
your
have
elbow?
nothing better to critique.
I understand you. I hit the obvious ones, but I didn't bother to. Right across the top there is where in Lightroom the whole logo shows up. So I was missing the ones that are hiding behind the Lightroom logo. Anyway, yeah, I get the point. I could have cleaned it up a little better with shooting at f/22. It shows them all. Or I guess we could call that light speed boogaloo or whatever. I don't know.
I'll call it whatever you want me to call it, Ray.
Just call it experimental and move on.
No, I mean, I love it. I love it. I love your take on the you know, on the subject.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you just had fun with it. Like you could have taken it knowing what kind of photography you can do and knowing that you just had a great time with it and had fun. I love it.
Well, thank you. It's just, I don't know about the blur between them. I used the Photoshop motion blur between the images, and I don't know if that was necessary or not. But I was trying to show movement there.
I think it connects them together.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of
yeah.
cool.
I think it helps. Yeah.
All I keep thinking of is a ghost.
Oh, you've seen the Starship Enterprise go off into warp speed. That's what I was trying to. That's what I was trying for there.
No, I get the warp speed thing, but yeah, but you know, if you did this at night, same thing. Could say it was the ghost up there. That would be cool.
All right,
Yeah,
that's your next
I'm
challenge.
just
Photograph
playing
a
with it.
ghost.
Well, I keep looking for my lady on Route 9, and she hasn't shown up lately.
Which lady?
I was coming. You want to hear the story? I was coming home one night because I worked second shift, and we had worked overtime, and I was on the road at 2 a.m. And I was up by there on Route 9 in Barrington after the police station. There's an assisted living place. And I was just up there and I was up on the curb where there's really no houses. And there was this lady all dressed in white. And you know those old shopping carts that people use when they went to the store and they're wire?
Yeah.
Well, I started laughing because she was all dressed in white and so was the shopping cart. And this was like, I think it was like 2:15 a.m. And I started laughing because I said, all she needs is a pair of wings. And she looked like an angel. So, you know, I was tired and I didn't go back. I keep thinking I should have gone back and asked her if she needed a ride that hour in the morning.
And this
But
was after how many drinks?
This was not drinks.
No, it wasn't drinks. It was peyote.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And so anyway, I told one of the people at work about it. And he lives in Barrington and he goes, oh yeah, he says, that's a lady in white. And then it was like a year later, his daughter's friend saw the same lady in the
Wow.
same spot. Whether it was a ghost or somebody escaping, I don't know,
Yeah,
but
there's-
it was just kind of weird. Her hair was white. She was all dressed, and I mean, even her skin looked white. And you know, the shopping cart she was pulling behind her had nothing in it, and that was white. Like I said, all she needed was the wings.
All right. So, nice job, Reed.
Thanks.
Okay, so next up, Susie.
Wee.
Whoa!
Gravity's going to win on that one.
Oh.
That's
Awesome.
showing motion without motion. I like that.
Yeah, oh yeah, even without the slow shutter speed, it captures motion.
I was unsure what to do for motion.
Oh, he's coming off a diving board. I thought he jumped off the side there. I was going to say, ooh, might hurt himself.
We got motion of the water coming off of his foot.
Oh yeah.
Ew. Excuse me.
Oh, up by the window, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Would it have more impact if you cropped it in so that the people on, I know the people on the right-hand side are looking that way, but if you just do the two people,
Yep.
does that give you, I'd come in even more, Sean.
Yep. Take the feet out.
Take the feet out and lose part of the windows. No, keep going. Keep going, maybe. Yeah.
Go right
right
to
about
the
there.
edge of the windows.
Well, you gotta make sure you leave enough room for his knee. If you crop it too close, then We can try.
Oh, nice.
Because
Yeah,
now
but then you
everything's,
get rid of the water spots too by
You get-
dropping it
you
down.
get rid of that, and also everyone is looking from the left-hand side in towards the center of the picture, so the eyes are actually drawing you to the center.
Yeah, yeah, much better. It's just that little tweak where you don't need the other people in there, but that little kid right there in the orange, that's you've got a bullseye right there, and this like crazy guy just trying to show off for everybody else, show off for this kid. It tells more of a story than the people off to the side watching it. This is really fun. I love this.
Space says, oh my God, what did I just do?
I like it, Susie.
Thank you. I took quite a few different shots that day. We had a graduation party and every guy was jumping off the diving board and trying to make the biggest splash. And that little boy just was having so much fun watching. You could see that he wanted to be one of those people jumping off the diving board.
Did he?
He did, but he was afraid to get water in his nose.
Able to catch him when he hit the water.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah,
I-
this is interesting. Like it kind of pulls off like a photo, like just one of those like, okay, it's another picture in the photo album, but like the more you look at it, there's a lot to see, there's a lot to look at, and there's a lot to take in when you're really thinking about what your topic is on this. And I think you did a really great job on it.
Well, if you turn, I can turn my computer sideways and he's making a face like almost like, oh my God, what have I done? Because he's got, it looks like he's clenching his teeth.
Of course he is. Look at the angle he is. I've thrown my back out just looking at him right now.
His
I heard something
fingertips look
crack
like-
when he did this.
Yeah. It's actually a busy picture. I mean, you've got the horizontal lines with the house, and you've got all different kinds of lines with the fence, and then look at the water and his shorts and the little boy's shorts. It's busy.
Yeah, the lighting is like just in a place that it's hitting so many different weird spots that you're trying to figure out like what time of day it is. Like, when is this? What's happening? And
Looks like late in the day to me,
yep.
Yeah.
because for a post like this to make that long of a shadow, it would have to be pretty late or early in the morning.
Yeah, it was late.
Yeah, I guess you're right, because this early in the morning, you wouldn't be making these kinds of decisions.
That's true.
You caught his fingertips touching the water.
Yeah, it looks like it. They're almost maybe a foot from the water,
Yeah, I think like below him is like down here.
right?
It looks like it's touching the water there though.
If we ever do a texture, another subject of texture, that fence with the, what are those, like slats on the chain link fence, that's kind of a cool texture.
Yeah, especially like a long light like this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm.
I like that.
yeah, you can really see the light directionality too now coming in this way. Yeah, it's cool.
So how many
At
takes?
the bottom of the windows too.
John, can you just go to black and white for a second? This is like when I was growing up, Time was the magazine that you'd look at and everything was black and white. And there were always photos like this of families.
Ooh. Nice call.
That's really cool.
Throw a little more
That's got sort of one of those old Time Life magazine looks to it.
Yeah, it gives it a completely different look by putting it in black and white.
Cool. You can still see the texture though.
Yeah, but that's all you see now. Now you're not distracted by the color,
Yeah.
right? You'll always see the texture, but now
1955.
you just automatically go right to him now because there's not that blue of the water and like the color in the fence and that this is blue in the color as well. So that's distracting. Now all you see is him.
In the eyes behind him.
Yeah, and the kid, that smile. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see that his hand hasn't hit the water yet either.
It's a time life shot.
There
Yeah.
you go. Way to go, Susie.
Wicked, Susie, wicked.
Thank you.
All right. The timer's gone off. So let's see, where are we at? Oh, I think every time I edit it, it changes the edit date.
So now you don't have any idea where you are.
No, I do. Now this one will get bumped to the front again. So, all right. So this one is Amanda. That's a similar idea.
Yes, I guess I also went for motion without really showing motion with blur. I did experiment a little bit first with an object where I got some good blur, but the two pictures were so different. Ultimately, I kept going back and forth trying to decide which one to use, and I'll probably end up posting the other one on the Facebook page just for the heck of it. But this one, my daughter was a very good sport and went out to go jump on the trampoline and very graciously allowed me to take some pictures of her doing some of her gymnastic type stuff. And much like Susie's, I mean, her body is stationary and jumping, but I like the way that the movement of her hair.
Yeah.
You can see her ponytail flipping, and that kind of shows the motion in comparison to, you know, her body not really showing it because there's no motion blur. And I like the way that looked together.
It's curved like her body.
Yeah, and that's exactly my initial thought was the fact that like she seems so still, but look at her hair. Like her hair is like that's making the whole shot right there. You have so much nice texture in the background, but you have this very still body, very comfortable in doing that whole thing, but you know that it's in full motion at the moment and you just captured that second.
Yeah, she kept asking me, Mommy, I can put my hair up in a bun if you want me to. And I was like, no, don't put your hair up. Keep the ponytail. This is working.
Yeah,
So,
it's beautiful.
thank you.
And just that curve, it's like I'm not trying to make your daughter sound like a horse, but like that's like a horse tail, like that when you're you know, looking at pictures of horses, you're looking at how their manes are flowing and like that's the texture that you're looking at for that kind of thing. And it's kind of like that similar thing where you're just looking at the mane of that figure, and it just has that beautiful curve to it, and it makes the whole thing where you know where the whole body is going to end up in 2 seconds.
Yeah, either that or she needs an exorcist.
Either that or, yeah, sure, yeah.
She actually,
people. Whoops, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Different people see different things. I have horses, but I'm looking at this and I'm thinking of my bantam rooster tails.
Yeah, that's a rooster tail.
Yeah, right, Ben?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way you have her centered in between the posts.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that I will admit was all luck. I was using, you know, just single shot, and I didn't take a ton of pictures, mainly because the light was starting to change over, and my camera battery was dying. So that was primarily just where I was asking her to position herself, because at this point, you know, the sun was behind me, and I was just trying to get her in a good position where the lighting wasn't going to give me too much trouble and she wasn't going to be washed out and stuff. So she started a little back further than this, and she'd do a couple of jumps and then her flip without warning me. So my my finger on the button had to be ready to go at a moment's notice because she wasn't giving me any heads up. And this was the one shot that I took while she was doing this flip, and just, yeah, it lucky timing, and it really worked out.
Well done.
Thank you.
I really like how the like the netting behind you, where all the white speckles in it. I don't know how that was all created with those white speckles, and I'm sure that it was just some sort of a reflection, but it makes such a nice barrier between the indoors and the outdoors without putting a barrier there. But you know that it's there. It's just such nice texture in the background.
Yeah, I think the white speckles are actually just because the net's old. They might be more visible. I think they might be more visible through the camera than through the naked eye. But yeah, there was no, that was not, something that was done in post, or it's just that the trampoline's kind of old, the net's kind of old. It's just regular winterized wear and tear from living in New England. So, but I'm glad that I'm glad the like.
It's a really neat effect. So
Oh,
no matter what it was, just say thank you.
Okay, well, no, good, because well, I mean, I got to be honest, there's trampolines in my yard, so that's not the type of thing that I would necessarily notice in a photo, or if I did, it would be to go, oh God, I have to try and edit all these out because they're driving me crazy. So I didn't pay that much notice to them, so I'm glad that they stick out to you as something that's a positive. So thank you for mentioning that.
Oh God, can you imagine if I thought that, like, oh, you really should take all those out? That's terrible. Like, can you take 7 hours of your time to just do that all in post?
All that free time I have.
I wanted to say too, I like how if you look underneath, you can see just a little her shadow on the back mesh, and it looks really neat if you kind of look at it closely. I love that. Great photo.
Thank you.
Yeah, the time of day is, you chose a really good time of day. The light that you have and the directionality is really nice. Yeah, it's sort of like the last one where the time of day was really well chosen.
Agreed.
Thank you. And I will be sure to let my daughter know that my camera club thinks that she's reminiscent of a farm animal.
And she's famous in our eyes.
Say, well, there was some debate as to whether you're a horse or a rooster. But...
Well, it have to be a horse because it looks like she has 4 legs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Rams don't look like wings at all.
All right, so that's the 5 minutes has gone off. Anything else for Amanda?
Great job.
Yeah,
Awesome.
nice work, Amanda. All right, next up, Asina.
Tina did kind of the same thing. What is it?
Oh, nice.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
Somebody in bright colors.
Tetherball.
I can see their feet.
Psychedelic peacock.
I'm kind of interested in seeing what people's thoughts are before I explain it.
Well, I can see legs and feet, so I know it's a person.
Is it somebody playing basketball or volleyball? No,
playing
what it is?
tetherball.
It's tetherball.
Tetherball.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like
Tetherball.
Tetherball. Yep.
Poltergeist.
Really, really bright jacket.
But its head looks like it has a duck beak.
I think the head is the ball, isn't it?
But it looks like it's a head. And then it looks like there's a duck beak.
I think it's the ghost of pride.
I think it's someone with yellow dyed hair.
I could see, it looks like the yellow ball, and you can kind of see the string to it if you zoom in on
It's
it.
right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
definitely the ball.
that's really cool.
That's the ball being thrown this way, I think, or being caught, one or the other.
Caught.
Yeah, it looks, yeah, it came in this way and it was caught there.
This is
How
like
did
a
you get
move
those
forward to
colors?
catch.
Yeah, I-
because I have a ridiculous colored sweatshirt.
I was gonna ask if it was someone wearing tie-dye.
That's me. Hey.
This is a selfie.
It's a selfie. So I of course have been thinking about this for the past month, and it like occurred to me only last minute that I needed to come up with something. So there was the tetherball court, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just go and see what I can do. So yes, it is me playing tetherball all by myself, and you can see the ball. I'm holding the ball where that blue comes up and that like orangey yellow is held, and you can see the string that's going in that diagonal motion. And I thought it was kind of fun where you could see like my footsteps of the movement and how it moved up, and the fact that like my sweatshirt was so obnoxious that it just picked up these like crazy colors and just put it all in movement, but kind of like a ghost-like movement. And I just, out of everything that I took, I'm like, you know, this is more interesting than things that you can like maybe see me moving a little bit easier in. And it was just kind of, it was fun. So that's why I wanted to see what your thoughts were first.
The treatment, I think, is kind of nice too. It has like a real filmy feel to it. Looks like there's lots of blues and greens in the shadows.
How long was the exposure? Santa wants to know.
I think it was on that one, maybe 2 or 3 seconds, maybe.
To me, that looks like maybe like half a second.
Maybe
or
half
not more than
second.
a full second.
I don't know.
None of the EXIF data is there, and she didn't include it in her email, so I couldn't help you out there.
Sorry.
No, I love the idea. I love this, just like with Reed, just to see somebody, you know, get creative with it like that is really cool.
I like how it's abstract, and like when I'm looking at the bottom, I can clearly see 2 legs and 2 feet, but then looking closer, I can see like the turn of your body. So it's very obvious that, you know, it makes it look like either 2 people or it shows your forward motion. Like the more I look at it, the more kind of jumps out at me, but none of it really makes sense. And yes, definitely. In the amount of time, that short amount of time I've been in this club, I've learned to expect abstract and sort of out of the box thinking when it comes to your photos, Asina, and this one definitely did not disappoint. The more I look at it, the weirder it gets, and the more I enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Amanda.
So Asina,
Well,
how many times did you have to set the timer and retake this shot?
23.
That's dedication.
I was there for a while, and I was trying to, I was playing with the time, I was playing with the movement. I was like, I extended the time out. I had my had one of my filters on so that I could have like it was, oh gosh, it was probably midday that I was doing this, so I definitely had one of my black filters on to get the extended time. And I went back and forth. There's another post that I did on the public group of where you can kind of just see the blur of me moving from one end to the pole to the other end, and I couldn't decide which picture I liked better. But and then there was the whole thing of like, this is June and this is Pride, and if I'm going to be an ally of these, you know, of everybody, then I'm going to put every color into my photo. And like, there was a lot of underlying things that I was thinking about as I was doing it. I'm like, I don't think that's like the major point of it. This is still motion, but if I can put these underlying things in, maybe it makes, you know, it makes it cooler or something. I don't know.
It's a little bit of more of you in it than
It's
right.
yeah, it's
Oh.
it's a weird self-portrait. There you go.
That's all right. All right, so 5 minutes have come and gone.
All right, thank you guys.
Anything
Very
else for
good.
Rosita?
Very good.
Yeah,
Thank
wait,
you.
well done. Very interesting.
Very unique.
Very creative.
Creative,
right.
yeah.
Up next, Nikki French.
Okay, this one was the
Wow.
intentional camera movement. I've been following someone on Instagram. Her name is Karen Waller, and she does ICM, and she's been using a guava plant, and they're very delicate. And you can see the outline of the leaves, and yet the rest of the leaf is translucent. It's really pretty. So I've been playing around trying to figure out what she's doing with that. So this was just a bunch of ferns. I had it on a tripod. It was 1.6 seconds, f/18. My ISO was at 100, and my lens was 100 millimeters on my 24-240 lens. And it was probably about 7 o'clock last night, overcast. And while it was on the tripod, I moved the lens back and forth. And I've been playing around with this this month, and I'm finding that I'm sometimes moving it too fast. So I'm going to play some more with just one subject instead of, as I do different stuff, I've been trying it out just to try to get that translucent look with the petals much stronger. She doesn't have any of the artifacts of the color shooting or the light shooting off. But it's been a fun topic to play with and try to figure things out.
So is this, when you say you move the lens, are you zooming?
Am I?
So
Yes, I'm actually going in both directions.
right, so this is in-camera motion blur achieved using the zoom while the
Zoom,
shutter is
yes,
open.
yes,
Right, so the long shutter happening, zooming while it's open.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
That's what I thought, but when you said move the lens, I wasn't sure if you literally picked up the tripod or something, or you had it on wheels
No.
or something.
No,
I
but
find it very interesting.
yeah, the woman I'm following, all her posts say that she's handheld when she's created the pieces she's created. Right now, I'm just trying to play with it on tripod just to try to get things down, understand what's happening.
Feel like we're warp speeding.
I'm sorry.
It feels like we're to me, it feels like I'm warp speeding into
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought
forest.
too.
We're in the 60s.
Check,
Oh
here
my
we go
gosh,
again.
there's so much going on in this photo. I'm absolutely in love with it. I'm such a fan of you, Nikki, that you kill me when you put things up like this that are so different from the last thing that you've done. And there's so much texture and there's so much thought that's put into it. And I love it.
Thank
the
you.
only thing that I would that kind of bothers me about this is that center point is so center point.
The way you fix that is crop it off center a little bit. When you shoot it like this, it always happens. The only way that you can do it is move that center point to a different spot.
Yep.
And that draws you, that gives you more motion.
Oh, so much better. Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
And you
put it
actually
right on the
have
power
four
board.
different-
In any
they have four
direction that
different
you would do
crops.
that in, it pushes it past exactly what you've got.
Yep, much better. I didn't even play around with the crop. I was just looking at it. The other thing that was driving me nuts too is that little dark spot that was just outside the center in the lower
No,
left.
you need that.
Oh, right here?
Nope,
Yeah.
you need that.
The void.
The void.
Yeah, I think it's
A
all
wormhole.
subjective.
But I
It's
like
black
that. I
hole.
like when we do topics because it pushes me to look at things and try things and understand what's going on. So this was really, as I said, every time we do one, I just learned so much more.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I love that you can pick
Ferns.
ferns out all throughout it somehow still. I wonder if you let the shutter be open for just a split second longer and only do a zoom one way, as opposed to going back and forth. You
Okay.
might keep more of the details,
Yep.
but still achieve maybe a little bit less motion. But I think in order to keep more of the details, you'll have to have a little bit less motion.
All right, I'll try that out and then go.
I like it.
But I like this too. I think it's really
Yep.
it's really cool. So
Mhm.
much texture.
Yeah, I
So
could
much.
see that
Ah.
being some album art or something like that. That's pretty wild looking.
Yeah, I was trying it with the peonies, with the irises, with the roses, you name it.
This is it.
How would this look black and white?
I tried it in black and white, but I wasn't getting anywhere where I really liked it.
No.
Yeah,
No,
no, I like the
You'd have
green
to
It's like a
tone.
up
game
the
camera
contrast.
shot now.
Yeah, I mean, with the subject matter being, knowing that it's ferns, it almost has to be green.
Yeah.
I think you could get away with it if it was a really high contrast.
Mhm.
Black and
And
white.
a little more detail.
Mm,
Oh,
no,
But that's wild too.
it's really cool if you were looking at it for like some sort of a background effects or a particular kind of like maybe graphic design layout, but it
Warp
needs to
speed.
be green.
Or for a texture
It
layer.
looks like ice.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking if I had held a black reflector out over the lens, I might not have got the light effect that's at the top and the bottom.
I don't know. I like it.
and it would be a different picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was totally different. I mean, it to be honest with you, it feels like we're in a wormhole.
Yeah.
It just draws you right in.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sound control to Major Tom.
All right, 5 minutes for Nikki are up. Nikki, it's really cool. I really like that.
Cool. Yep.
All right, up next, Ben Kramer.
That's cool.
I'm assuming that's somebody jumping up and down.
Have more motion.
What's that?
I'm assuming that's somebody jumping up and down.
It's a little kid
like-
dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little girl in a pink
A
dress
hula
with
hoop,
a
yeah.
hula hoop.
Yeah, and there's just a little motion blur in the band.
So what did you do? Do the long exposure or focus on the band?
This was shutter priority at like 1/5 of a second, I believe. And then adjusting everything else to be able to get a proper exposure for it. So this is f/22 and like a super low ISO and handheld.
You got that sharpness handheld at 1/5 of a second?
I mean, in-body image stabilization works amazing wonders.
It does. It does, the technology, but it's still pretty impressive. I mean,
No, but you
I mean,
have
it's a
to go.
combination of
Come on,
it's
Ben.
technique in holding the camera and
You
all, as
just
well
need to
as
know.
this.
Ben, you just have to go, yeah, that's what it was, and just brush it off. Like, yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just go, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm just, rock solid, super stable.
That's right.
I
This
feel like
looks
this
like
would
a
make a really
child.
cool album cover.
That's awesome.
Looks
I
like a
love the-
child from years ago.
I love that there's a good storytelling aspect to this one too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's I think the main reason I went with this one. I had another one of
What happened to your bale of
loading
hay?
hay on a trailer. And it just, I don't know, I wasn't super happy with the light and the color of it. But when I had the opportunity to shoot this one, it was like, yeah, this is, an interesting juxtaposition. It's, it's basically a metal band, but it's, a little girl in a pink dress and a hula hoop jumping around in front of it. And I had
It's interesting, you caught the band almost still and the girl moving.
Yeah. I had another idea for a photo that I wanted to do, but I didn't have the people available to do it. And there's
I think
another
she
photo
was
that I
just-
thought of after the fact that I couldn't do anymore, but
I think she was
I'm
teleported.
happy with this.
This is one of those moments that, like, I'm gonna age myself and I want that little girl to be dressed in a bumblebee outfit, and it makes so much
Yes.
sense. I hope that other people get that,
Yes.
please, please.
Yeah,
I
and
understood that
they're playing
reference.
Blind Melon.
Yes.
I like the
love
wide
it.
overview, but again, not anything bad about the drummer, but do you need him in that if you did the same crop with, the three main guys and the little girl?
Yeah, it is a little
It's-
distracting that the drummer's head is behind the speaker.
Drumsticks
Yeah.
are moving.
I've already cropped this down a lot. And yeah, it could be, good with a different crop, even dropping the drummer out. But I kind of wanted to leave the drummer in, partly. Now that I think about it, I want to leave the drummer in because that's part of the story of the metal band, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with, Scott, and I agree with someone saying that the fact that his head is sort of hidden behind that speaker.
Mhm.
I agree that that's kind of a little bit distracting, but then it's your photo. So in the end,
Right.
I feel like it helps to tell the story.
I
then-
do like it wide, but it's always good just to explore those other
Oh,
things
yeah.
sometimes, just to, or take a horizontal and crop it vertical or something like that, and you get a whole different feel for it. But I do like it wide. Don't get me wrong there. I was just
So it's kind of cool because if you think of the drummer behind the speaker, everybody doesn't watch the drummer. So the drummer is there, but people don't generally watch the drummer. It's the three guys out front. So
that's
the drummer is there, but not.
yeah.
I have to disagree because I always like to watch what the drummer does. It's quite amazing how they play.
Oh, right.
Their hands.
And,
You don't
and
really-
believe me, if the only reason the drummer's head isn't visible is because
The speaker.
you tried trying to get a snapshot of a little girl dancing in front of a metal band with a decent composition.
Lot
you have
of,
no control
chasing
over
her
this
around for
child.
you? Did you have to chase her around a little bit?
Yeah, I moved around a decent bit. That, and there was another little girl out there, an older girl. And basically amongst the photos I took, this was the one where I had what I really wanted in the little girl there. And it was just kind of like, okay, yeah, I got what I wanted with the little girl, and I've got enough of the metal band to portray that it's still a metal band.
So is that a hula hoop?
Yes.
I think
So
it's great.
I like it.
I have a question on this. Is it the depth of field that creates the motion in the little girl over the motion in the band?
Yes, but not really. It's the reason there's so much of a difference between the motion of the band and the little girl is because the little girl is making a much more dramatic movement, a much more drastic range of movement
Okay.
versus the
Faster.
band.
Yeah.
They're generally all standing still. You know, there's some motion with their hands and their heads. But for the most part, they're standing still. So their motion is very small compared to the little girl who's basically like bouncing up and down at this point.
Thank you.
So to answer more technically, no, it's not depth of field.
All right, the timer has gone off. Nice job, Ben. I love the idea. Love the photo.
Awesome.
Great job.
Awesome.
All right, next up, Jacob Murphy, who couldn't make it tonight, but he still submitted. And he went very classic. This is a very Jacob photo.
Very nice.
Oh, lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely.
I love
Yeah.
how he captured the sun coming through the middle of the photo. It's beautiful.
I think he posted this one on Facebook.
Yeah, that's where I seen it.
Yeah, that's where I saw it too.
Yeah, really well done. I'd love to see that in the fall.
Oh, he probably already has it, or he'll go back and get it.
I'm sure.
He's pretty prolific. He's out there all the time. The tones in the trees are really nice. Some nice yellows and some warmth there that you don't expect.
I
You
wonder
can
where
almost
this
smell
was.
the earth.
What's that, Reed?
Just wonder where this picture was taken.
He said where it was.
Yeah, hold on, let me
I'm
get into
looking.
the.
Yeah, I'm looking right now to see where it was, but he did say where it was.
It's all right. I just wonder if it's one of the places that Jacob took us one day. Or Jared, I mean, not Jacob.
So he posted a similar photo of the same scene. It's Chesterfield Gorge.
Yeah.
Okay, no, different spot then.
I like the degree he captures the water. It's not too much and it's not too little.
Next.
It's
Yeah, I like that he didn't, polarize it out, and he made sure that there were some highlights still left in there and some reflections.
it's probably what, a half second,
A
maybe a
sixth
little
of a
less.
second.
Sixth of a second. Yeah.
Yep.
I was a tenth off. Give me a break.
You're fired.
Thank you. I'm retired. Try again.
I like the difference in tonality in this, how it's got all the warmth in the background and then the top of the rock still has that sort of warm glow to it. And then the closer you get to the foreground, it starts to get a little more dark and a little more cold. But it all blends really well together. It looks like a postcard.
The only thing I have is, I know it's straight because I can tell by the crop on the left-hand side, you can see the railing and you can see the upright of the pole. So that's straight up and down, but all the trees sort of lean one way except for the one on the right. If you rotate it just a little bit, those trees would be straighter and only a couple would be bent. I don't know if.
I felt the same way. It just,
Because you know that
like the
now
horizon
the
line is
one that's
off.
going over the waterfalls, that's okay if that's bent.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
That's all just because of it was probably a wide angle lens and you get a little bit of distortion.
I wonder if that railing wasn't actually straight in real life. It's coming down a hillside. So it's possible that it's not straight up and down, but he cropped it that way. Also, as you start to straighten the trees out, you're starting to lose quite a bit. That's turning into a pretty big crop now.
You can also do that if you go into the lens corrections, I believe.
Lens correction or transform?
Yeah, there, and now go down a little bit. Nope, not that. Go down to the sliders. And if you do vertical, if you change that, it will tow it in and out a little bit. Maybe the other way, and then that'll get it to bend back in. Nope. Yeah. The vertical on the other way. That does it a little bit too.
Well, that's a fun little trick.
Yeah, and if you click the constrain crop too, it won't crop any of the picture, or it won't show the white on there.
Right, but then you can control your crop later.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty neat.
And everybody knows about the little angle line up in the top there to level out, right? If you go
Of
up,
course.
where is it, Sean, in the basic?
What?
Oh, it's right there. So if you say you wanted this tree to be straight, you can just drag it down like that. And then you can pick another one over here to make this one straight. Obviously, you wouldn't actually do that, but that's how it works. So you can, if you say you had a building that you need to straighten out, you could actually pick all four sides and tell it to straighten it out. So it's kind of cool. And that's this little tool right here. Or that's the same as guided. Those two.
No, I was talking about the one in the basic panel. For like just your horizon.
And the crop, the angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can just use that too. You know, that straightens up that tree.
That one does it. It must be me, but it looks like the water is doing something different.
Well,
I
it's
guess
completely
not.
changed the perspective.
Yeah.
I think I do like the second one better, to be honest. So first, second. Yeah, I like the straightened version better, I think. I don't, but it's, again, nitpicking as usual. I think it's a beautiful image. So when Jacob watches this later, good job, Jacob.
That's what he said earlier, Jacob.
So the timer's going on for Jacob. Up next is Lisa Shirtliff. It's funny how one guy looks sort of concerned, and the other guy's just sort of laughing it off.
This was up on the Winnipesaukee River. They just, in Franklin, they just opened a whitewater park up there over the weekend. So there was all kinds of kayak races and floats coming down it, and it was a lot of fun. Good practice on motion, action shots.
Active picture.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were-
I like the extra paddle. That shows planning ahead.
Yeah. I actually got one picture of one guy flipping out of one of them. It was pretty funny. Went over a rapid. But yeah, it was a fun day.
Like the way you caught the paddles almost perfectly aligned with the angles.
I just think the guy needed help getting dressed that day, though.
Oh, I love the rubber ducky shorts. Those are great.
He got up before his wife got up.
I think so. I think he left the house.
I thought they were brightly dressed in case they fell out of the boat, they could be seen in the water. That
Yeah,
was
from
my
the
thought.
air.
Yeah, that was my thought.
Too much fun.
Yeah.
It does look
was.
like fun.
Yeah, it was a fun day. So there was all kinds of, there was a guy came down on a paddleboard. A
Oh my
guy,
God.
all the way down the rapids. Guy came down with a dog on the front of his kayak. It was a lot of fun.
Nice action shot.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Tell
the
it to
water.
them.
I'm looking for something to critique and I'm having a hard time.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it you said it was a lot of fun. I guess they do it like once a year. They let the water out of I think it's Winnisquam. They release the water, which makes the Winnipesaukee River higher, but they kayak down it and they have the markers, the boots, and they were racing, so they were going around the markers and through them and
You did an awesome job capturing the motion in the water, and I love the like little droplets flying off of the paddle over to the left, and a little bit coming off the front and back of the raft there. But I gotta say, while this was great for the meeting the motion challenge, what really makes this photo is the difference in their facial expressions. That's just I love that.
Well, their facial expressions they look like they're soaked, and I'm sure that water was not warm.
no.
Yeah, that one guy doesn't care. He thinks that it's great.
Yeah.
One's having the time of his life and one is fearing for his life, and
Terrified,
leaving
yeah.
the outfits aside and all of the beautiful scenery around them aside. This picture is by turns just like aesthetically perfect and also hilarious. I love it.
I know it's almost like the guy in the blue sees something that the other guy hasn't quite seen yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
The
look at the
waterfall
size
they're
of
gonna
that
go
moose.
over.
Like you think like maybe he had that very big smile on a split second before.
Well,
You
and
know, I
part
mean,
of
the only thing I can think of is, I mean, potentially it could be cropped in a little bit from this side, just because there's a lot of space over here.
Yeah.
And that just brings more of the attention directly on them.
Mhm.
It also puts a little bit more room in front of the boat, which
Yep.
helps to like imply where it's going. A lot
Mhm.
of times with this kind of thing, you want to put some room in front. And I found this big dark area maybe a little bit distracting.
Where?
This big dark area. on
Oh,
the
okay,
edge.
yep, yep.
So if you just sort of just crop it into like there,
Okay.
it brings the focus on them a little bit more maybe. I do like, you know, there's good use of foreground, good depth of field. I mean, it's sharp. Tells a great story. Nice job.
Thank you.
Lovely.
All right. Anything else for Lisa?
Good job.
It's a keeper.
Very nice.
It's a keep. All right. Next up is Deb Belanger.
Had your bath.
Definitely has.
Oh,
How long of a exposure is that, Sean?
1/5 of a second.
wow.
Very pretty. And I like that there's a lot of motion in the water in the foreground and not just in the small waterfalls that are feeding into it.
Really.
I like the the inclusion of all 3 of the waterfalls.
Say goodnight. Paxton wants to say goodnight.
Good night.
Bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.
I Paxton.
Long farewell, Auf Wiedersehen.
I wonder if it could be maybe just cropped up a little bit from the bottom.
Read. And there's
Something
something
like that.
like if you're looking at them as 3 waterfalls, the number 3 waterfall has amazing glow from it, and such, yes, exactly, right there. That's the exact section I'm looking at. I just think it's absolutely spectacular.
And you see the same blue in the bottom too.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's certainly an overcast day. That's what that looks like to me. It's a reflection of like an overcast, cloudy sky. That and it's pretty flat lighting all around.
Just out of curiosity, how does that look in black and white?
Probably pretty good.
Christina, is that the squirrel?
Yes, it is, baby.
Yeah, I like that better without the brown, but that's just me. Yeah, a little more
Wow.
contrast. That's nice.
There's so much texture in that. Oh, there's so much to take in.
The way it works so well in black and white.
It really does.
Because even like some of there's little smatterings of green all over here. That was almost distracting.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that. But again, I'm easily amused. What can I say?
Don't ever change that, Reed.
Well, if you go back-
Always better to be easily amused and not the other way.
Mhm.
I also feel like in color, it looks like just the slightest bit overexposed. Like it's just not the water, but the rocks are just like a little bit bright for my eyes in black and white. That doesn't seem to stick out so much, but that might just be personal preference on my part. I tend to cleave more towards darker photos usually, so.
Yeah, I like the black and white, and I'd play with the contrast a little bit, but that's just me.
With the black and white, the flow is altogether different.
But in color, the blue up on the right-hand corner where the water's coming over, I really like that.
This right
Right
here.
there, yeah,
Yeah.
yep, that just,
And there's touches of it all throughout if you look for
yep.
it.
What about flipping the image, Sean? So the waterfall's on the opposite side, on the left-hand side, and going down out to the right.
Mm.
No, I like it.
I like it the other way. It reads better the other way.
It does
Yeah.
read better the other way, because I think that if you were looking at it from a context of how you would read text, that you would go from left to right to left to right to left to right. But in this, the flow is from right to left. And it's just going to put that little bit of like tension on it, just of how you are supposed to read something that is in front of you.
Yeah, so the actual flow is going that way, but you're still reading it. If you just look at it graphically, you're still reading it left to right. You have this is like your leading line coming in over here. You hit the first waterfall, you keep following it to the second, and then the third, and then you can just follow it back around. And the rocks just keep you right into that water. And I think this area right here, you can probably mess around with, keep it, lose it. But
yeah, but I think the flow is what keeps you pushing, where it just gives you that tension where you want to keep moving forward, you want to keep moving to the right hand side of it, and it keeps you bringing it brings your eye back into that picture up to the top.
yeah, it's almost like you're swimming upstream in a way.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's
Good, nice
really cool.
shot.
Really great
Yeah.
shot. Really great work, Deb. Hopefully you get to see this, not on tonight's call. All right, so next up is Beth Dubois. A bird taking flight.
Wow.
That's a hard subject to focus on.
Took a lot of pictures to get that one.
the grass is stunning. Like just the
Very
the
sharp.
focus of the grass, everything. Yeah, exactly. It's so sharp and it's so stunning. And you know that there's like this little ball of movement that's trying to come out of it. And like you can see that it's not like, especially that front wing that's towards us is not in focus, but like I'm willing to let it go because of the fact that he's just trying to get out of the grass. Like he needs to take flight and he can't quite do it at the moment.
So is that a red-winged blackbird?
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
Amazing texture, amazing color.
Yeah, the light is really nice in this. I
The
find
thing
myself just,
I'd say is it's going out of the picture. That's,
yeah,
it's more leading away than into.
Yep.
I know what you want is a little bit more space on this side. So I wonder if you crop it, you might be losing. You can't really go, I guess you could.
that was at the end of it.
Better, but it's centered right now.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like you sort of just need more space to work with on this side. So if this is cropped already, go back and maybe take a look and see if you have any more space in front of the bird. Because you don't really want to lose all of this either. This is all really nice, you know?
I don't remember if I have more space there or not. I'll have to go look.
Yeah. For any type of photo like this, it's always better. It's a good rule of thumb, at least, that there should be space for the bird or the car or whatever
To leave, yeah,
to come
where
in,
they're going.
as opposed to be flying out of the image. Because right away, your eye, like the eye just sort of follows the bird out.
Beth, by chance, did you take that at Plum Island?
No, I've never been there.
I was wondering because I see a lot of red-winged blackbirds in the grass like this at Plum Island.
No, it was at the Durham Loop that
Okay.
loops around to Newmarket,
Okay.
Great Bay. We were there checking out the rookery
Nice.
because the herons have tons of babies there.
Where's
John.
that rookery?
You know where the Durham Dam is?
Mm-hmm.
You go past the Durham Dam headed towards Newmarket, and the loop road is off to the left just as you're going up the hill. Bay Road or whatever it is, I don't know.
Okay.
That's on the way to Adams Point.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
okay. I know where it is. Okay. Yep.
Yes, and the water is so low that the parents have to continually fly to get food for the babies. There's almost no water in there.
Nice shot.
Yeah, well done.
Thank
Nice
you. I thought it was gonna be a boring shot after all these other creative ones.
This is just as creative.
It is.
Don't sell yourself short, Beth. I mean, to have the eye to see this scene and photograph it, I mean, that's just as creative as what everybody else is doing.
To get a bird in flight, it is motion that most of us don't have the patience to get.
True,
So
it's difficult.
there.
I'm always trying to.
Focus when the reeds are there like that, to focus on one object within those is really hard to do because the camera will be all
Exactly.
over the place.
The
Yeah.
camera wants to
Yes.
focus on whatever's
It
closest.
wants the grass.
Right, it wants to
Right.
focus on the closest object.
Yeah.
So, yeah, great job.
Yep.
Thank you.
Isn't there a setting in the, well, I'm thinking of the Nikons that have a tracking focus.
I think on some of the models have them, yeah. It depends on what you're using though, I think.
Nikons have an action mode, I think. I
But
just
if
stay
you're-
on manual.
If you're focused on the bird going into something like that, it might work. But when you're focusing on the bird within all of those reeds,
Coming out. yeah.
it's not, you're not going to be able to track it.
Mhm.
It doesn't know what to focus on. So it's
Yeah, but
hard to get something in those reeds.
Yeah, but I thought I read something in my Nikon book. I think I saw it on YouTube and then checked it out in the manual. And it was like if you were the way I understood it, I have never tried it. You know, like if you have turkeys on the ground that are moving, if the camera will stay in focus as you move along with them.
If you keep
Yeah.
your focal point on the
Right.
turkey, yeah, you can continually focus. That's how I photograph race cars. You hold down, if you're using back button focus, you can hold it down and it will stay on whatever it is and continually focus even though it's moving, but you have to actually keep it on it. Some of the new mirrorless cameras might have better features than that though. I use D500s that don't have the feature that you're talking about. Be nice if it did.
Like I said, I saw it on YouTube and then I read about it in my manual. I have not tried it. I don't know.
If you can find that on YouTube, send it to me. I'd like to see it.
Okay.
All right. Anybody have more for Beth? All right, great job, Beth. That's a really, really cool shot. All right, so the next one is mine. Hold on, let me back out.
That's pretty sharp.
Yeah. Scenery's going by pretty fast.
Yeah, it's 1/80th of a second. And this is the whole frame. This isn't cropped in.
Holy crap. So did you pan along with the car?
Yes. Yeah.
The contrast of the two different blurs, the wheel spin blur as one kind of illustrating what that speed, and then the gong's other speed is kind of a neat comparison thing.
I love the fact that everybody else took this as putting the foreground into motion, and I mean, obviously this car is going very, very fast and you have it absolutely still and the entire background is the motion.
Whirl.
I love that. I love it. And that's exactly what I would expect from you.
Yep.
How long do you have the side view on that, Sean? You know, that you're able to get this? Is it a good stretch or is it just a short piece of tar?
So this is at 500 millimeters on a D500 crop body. So it's at 750 millimeters. So I'm probably 70, 80 yards away.
No, I mean when he's driving past you, is it a good stretch where you're able to lock onto him, or is it just?
Oh yeah, so this is actually going through a corner, so I can see them coming directly at me, and then he goes through the corner, and so yeah, I can lock right on him, and then using continuous focus. The goal is always for a shot like this is to have the helmet tack sharp. I just missed a little bit. I think it was bouncing a little bit more than the car itself. But I'll take it. It's pretty close. I liked it because you can see the gloves. You can see him actually like turning the wheel into the corner. And then the time of day, getting these long shadows in places, just add some texture to it. And it's very white otherwise.
It's like a magazine cover.
Well, we'll
Definitely
see.
an interesting crop.
I imagine the Skip Barber Racing School has this at this point, so we'll see if they use it.
Cool.
Very nice.
So yeah, 500 millimeters, f13, 1/80th of a second. on a monopod. That's my settings. And the only thing I did to it as far as cropping was just level it off, just to make sure this was level here. But other than that, it's the whole frame.
What's the darker
Almost like he's
blur in
sinking.
the upper right-hand corner? Is that another car or
Up
what is
here?
that?
That
Yeah.
is guardrail.
Oh, okay.
So this is shadow from the woods, and then guardrail that happens to also be in shadow.
Looks like he's almost sinking into the grass. He flies by.
Yeah, so this part of the track, it has a bit of a camber to it. So it just like if you go to New Hampshire in the corners, it banks in on itself. It does that here too a little bit. So I'm actually shooting a little bit below what would be road level. I'm standing a little bit below that.
I would be dizzy trying to do that.
What's that?
I would be dizzy trying to do that.
Oh no.
Anything fast. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one that I liked.
I like it. It's a keeper.
You accomplished it.
I was at Watkins Glen one time back years ago with my camera trying to get, it was on the straightaway and the NASCARs go 150 miles an hour. I could not catch them. And I either got the very front of the car or the very back of it. I couldn't get them like coming into the picture or anything because they go fast if they're on the straightaway.
Yeah, it's a technique. You have to learn to stay very level as you pan.
Yep.
If you kind of like tilt at all, it'll throw it off a little bit.
Yeah, but at the Glen, like I said, they were going, I think they were doing 150 miles an hour on the straightaway. And it was hard.
Not these cars, but the headlining
No.
series this weekend was where they were hitting 165 on the straightaway.
Yeah.
So these cars aren't quite that fast. These are not Formula One cars or anything. All right. So my timer just went off.
It's keeper.
It's keeper. All right. All right. Next up, Michael Dubois.
Yeah.
A little bee butt. I think it's
I
great.
love this. I love everything about this.
Is it a bee or a hummingbird? Is it a bee or a hummingbird?
This shot was, I had several shots, but they were really difficult because it was very windy. And the flower was moving and the bee was moving, and this is down at Adams Point, but it's kind of hard to capture, but this is probably one of the better ones. Man, I was able to stop the wings pretty close.
You can see some antenna as well as butt.
Right?
Yeah.
Bee butt.
But
Bee butt.
Bee butt? Bee butt?
No, the
Yeah, my
depth
own-
of field is really good.
Mhm.
I mean, F8, so you probably even had a little bit more space there if you wanted. But there's just enough distance there that you can pick the bee right out. I mean, I'm assuming that's the ocean behind the bee.
It's a little inlet across from the road.
Yep.
It's not on the ocean side. It's
No, it's the inlet.
the other
yeah,
side.
so-
Yeah. It's
I
funny. I
almost-
think that's the day that we were there, and there's a little peninsula with a weird looking tree, and there was an eagle on it, and watched it for a long time, but I didn't have my long lens, so I couldn't get a good picture. And then the osprey came and they were fighting. I was like, whoa. But I just couldn't get a good picture.
Yeah, times like that, your iPhone just won't do it.
No, I had my 300 lens on, but I didn't have my 600 with me.
Mhm.
If I had my 600 lens, I would have been able to get it.
Yeah.
But now we've learned, don't go any place without baby. the 600 lens.
Very nice. Nice shot. Nice depth of
Thank
field.
you.
I almost think that the brown on top is a distraction because I just want all that open space for the bee, all the blue.
Yeah, my only suggestion would be to maybe crop down a little bit to get rid of that brown and just that little tiny green leaf that's in the left-hand corner. Cropping just down below that to get just the blue background with the bee above the flowers.
You could crop it, or you could clone over the brown spot.
You could, that wouldn't be hard because
I like the crop.
I like the crop too. I like
Oh,
that.
that's better.
Focus right
Yeah,
in.
the crop is good.
It fills the frame a little bit better and yeah, it makes the bee the story a little bit more instead of the empty space.
Drops right into the row of thirds there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it also puts that more space in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now he's flying into the image.
I like that.
Is he, or is he flying away?
Well, he's flying away. but
Flying
he's
away.
flying-
I think we're still looking at bee bud here, right?
We are.
But he's banking to the left.
He is banking to the left. Thank you.
Air traffic control.
Yeah, and I like how the flowers are obviously stationary and the bee, even though it's flying, looks stationary because the wings are in pretty good focus and the bee itself is in pretty good focus, and all of the sense of motion comes from that blur in the background with that depth of field. That's a really nice effect.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Nice job, Mike.
Thank you.
Good
We
job.
try.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Very sharp bee.
You can
Yeah,
almost
I'm
smell
like-
the roses because everyone knows what those smell like.
Bee farts out of the bee butt.
That is the shiniest bee bud I've ever seen, I have to say.
There's a nice specular highlight right on the bee butt. Yeah.
Right?
You guys have been to places I haven't visited, is all I got to say.
Your bees are much shinier than mine.
Don't recall ever
God, you
seeing a
guys are
bee
killing
bud.
me right now.
All right, so now we're talking about specular highlights on the bee butt. So anybody have anything left for Mike?
Next.
We've jumped the shark a touch. All right, so last one for the night, Mr. Scott Thorpe. In-camera
Ooh.
motion blur. Very cool.
Oh,
Nice.
This is a 4-second exposure. What I did was I just put the camera on the tripod and I have a ball head and it's wide angle. It's probably 24 millimeter. Just started left, started to pan, push the button and let the 4 seconds go through. So I didn't push the button and then start to pan. I started panning before I pushed the button. That's it.
Cool.
It's an 8-stop and a polarizer.
Oh, wow.
No sensor dust in here, huh, Scott?
I think I tried to get it out.
If you put some sort of small image in the foreground, it'd be a great minimalism shot.
Yep.
A bee.
I think it's a great
A
minimalism
bee
shot.
butt. We need a bee butt.
Bee butt.
There you go. I think as for what it is, it's a great minimalist shot.
Very, very, very nice.
So what I've done is I've started going around to different beaches because some are rock, some are more granite. This is a gunquit and this is all sand. So if you go to York, it's sand, but it's more of a gray color. So I'm getting a collection of different ones, just the same pan thing and It'll just be something to play around with different colors.
There's a guy, and I don't know who it is. He's on Visionary Photography. He does this a lot down on the Cape. He gets like different angles and stuff. And I always wondered how he did it. Guess now I know.
I like long exposure stuff during the day. It just sort of, it's like a mind relaxing thing.
I would expect the clouds to be straight across and they have a little downward arc. Is that just the way the clouds were formed, or is that to do with the process?
That's more because when you're panning, you're starting over on the left-hand side. And so it just sweeps around to the right-hand side and then ties it back in. You can see it in the sand. There's like rocks in the sand, the same thing. And that's because it's a 24 millimeter. If I went to a 20, you'd see even more circular motion.
Okay.
But if I went to like a 35, those clouds would probably be straighter.
Wouldn't be the
It
same
doesn't,
picture.
yeah, it doesn't bother me. It's just a surprise.
Yeah, I didn't expect it either. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's kind of different.
I like it. It provides a contrast to the straight horizons. I like the kind of bowed clouds.
Scott, this is beautiful. Now, when you're panning, are you moving very slowly, or what type of movement,
I
is
did
it
some
quick?
that were slow, some that were fast. When you do it slower, you get more sort of like with your ferns, you could see a little bit more detail. If you go faster, it's blurrier. So
Okay.
but what I did is I'm keeping the 4 seconds constant in every single one that I do from now. So the other things will change, the depth of field and the ISO, but I want that 4 second pan to see what I can capture in that 4 second time.
Hey, maybe we're all going to start experimenting.
I think we already have.
I like it.
Yeah, so do I.
Thank you.
It's
And it's
a
one of those
keeper.
ones you could always flip it too. You could, flip it horizontally so the brown was on the top. No one has to know that it's a beach.
Vertical.
You could do that vertically as well.
Vertical, do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I think it works best as a beach. Looks great.
It'd be interesting to do it in the rain.
There is
The sky would
something
be
on the
gray.
chat.
Everything would be a different tonality.
Sean, there's something in the chat.
I'm in there right now.
Oh, okay.
No, it's so Josh Albertson asked if I received the picture, because I guess we're missing his, and I'm in the email right now looking. I don't see it here anywhere. So I think he's gonna, Josh, are you gonna just email it over now, or?
I saw him, but I can't hear him.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I just resent you the email.
Okay, let me see here. You sent it to the GRCC mailbox?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Awesome.
All right, give me just a second. I'll get it downloaded and
Please,
brought into Lightroom. We don't want to leave you out. Let's see.
Well, no, I saw it. I'm like, I thought for sure I emailed it. I must have fat fingered it or something.
All right. So bear with me for just a moment. Anything else for Scott before we move on from this?
Great job.
It's a keeper.
Very nice.
All right, let's go. All right, so then this is now the last one. And this is Josh Albertson's.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
wow.
This
say that's
this
your
I
drone.
kinda got creative a bit, and there's a tree up the road from my house, and I absolutely love it. It just kind of sticks out in the field. And so as you guys know, I love my drone. So I decided to use the drone. It has a light under it to paint above the tree. And just in time, I happened to capture that car driving by in the background. Kind of made the image to me anyways.
Cool.
Yeah,
Nice
the
image.
light trails of the car actually add a nice little touch to it all.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. I was out there getting eaten alive when I shot it. But so I made it as quick as possible. It took a few tries, but it's a 30-second exposure, 100 ISO. I was shooting with Pentex that I actually got off of Thomas, and it was my first few shots with it, and quite enjoyed it. So I would literally hit the shutter on the camera and then fly the drone in the kind of the circles to try to get that kind of shot.
Very creative.
Yeah,
I
seeing
saw you
guys-
posted.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I saw you posted this one on the group Facebook page, and I'm glad that you were in this meeting to explain it, because I was trying to figure out what the heck you did. I don't have a drone, so that's not the first place my mind goes, but yeah, definitely a very cool effect, very cool shot.
Thank you.
It looks like there's just some like wisp of cloud up here that's just catching a little sunlight.
Yeah, it was pretty late. I had taken a few shots of the tree before, and then as the sun set, the colors, I love the colors in the back.
So the white spots around the outside of the white ring, is that the drone light?
Yeah, so I unfortunately can't turn those off because they're for the FAA. So those are
That's
it's a
okay.
blinking green, yeah, it's a blinking green light, and it's kind of neat because they add a little texture to it.
They're all spaced.
Just when you guys had said, captured motion, I was thinking, like, how can I, do it outside the box? And then the car drove by, and I was like, okay, that's perfect.
It is with
Correct.
the color of the sunset behind the tree. I'm like, yeah, you got it, nailed it.
Thank you.
It's a keeper.
I appreciate that.
I don't think it would have had the same effect if the drone was above the tree. I like it how it's just a little bit above, behind the top of the tree.
Yeah, it was very sketchy doing that because, again, it was very low light. So I'm flying basically blind. So a couple of times I skimmed the top of the tree, and I thought for sure I was going to, have the drone come down, but it worked out pretty well. I actually have another shot where I used the light to just light the tree. And it was a totally different angle, but you can see the stars in the background, but the tree's lit up. So it's pretty different way of doing it. So I'm glad you guys like it. Thank you very much.
The box. It's a keeper.
Nice shot, Josh.
Definitely got some grain to it.
Whoa, look at that.
And I apologize, it was 400 ISO. Just to correct that.
Looks like there's a fire down there.
I got to tell you, I love this, guys. This is my first meeting with you. So other than being in person, I love how you set up the Zoom call and everything. It's great. Thank you. It's awesome.
Oh, we have fun.
It's neat because, coming from outside the box, I've never taken any type of classes or anything like that. A lot of the knowledge I've learned is from Thomas. He's been, really close friend of mine. So we've gone shooting a bunch, and he's like, hey, if you can get that shot in camera, get the composition right, and that's why I wanted to join the club, because I've never really had anybody really critique me. So I appreciate that, especially coming from you guys for saying it's a great photo. It was
You
definitely-
know what might look really nice with that if you do it again is light up the tree with a flashlight, a colored flashlight or something.
Yeah, to light up the foreground. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just the tree. With
Okay.
the drone going over and the car going by.
Yeah, I
I
can
don't know.
try that for sure.
I like it. It's unique.
It is, it's gorgeous.
Awesome. I
Good
appreciate
job,
you-
Joshua.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys staying on for one more.
This is how we learn,
Yes.
or I do anyway.
I think someone's mic is muted. See, I think someone's trying to talk. Oh, never mind.
I think I've been muted this entire time.
Yep, you
Yeah.
have.
All right, can you hear me now? All right.
Yes.
So I said lots of good things to you about your photo, Josh, but apparently you couldn't hear me. So
Thanks.
I didn't have a lot to critique, really. I thought that it looked really cool. Otherwise, I just said that you had to, the next time you try to write your name in cursive.
Okay.
Joking, that sounds impossible, but yeah, so nice job, everyone. This is the last challenge until September. We'll get that information out to you over the summer. Again, if you're going to be participating in the summer show, drop-off is the 30th at Riverstones downtown, between 3 and 6. If you can't make that work and you want to drop off, let me know. I'm usually able to make other arrangements with people. Either you can drop it off at the house or whatever. We'll make it work for you. All the information about the show, what the hanging requirements, size requirements, all that, that's right on the members only page on Facebook. It's a pin post right at the top, so it's easy to find. If you have any questions about that, let us know. And then
I have a
just,
question.
yes.
How do you decide what your picture is worth?
Oh, as far as putting a price on it?
Yes.
Honestly, I'm so convinced that it's not going to sell in the show that I just make something up.
Okay.
I mean, so here's the thing. So Riverstones, Chris at Riverstones, if she's going to hang a show, requires that things be for sale. I think we've only ever had one piece sell in the 5 years we've been doing this. So, I mean, if you're going to put a price on it, just try and cover your expenses. So where you're having Chris actually frame it for you, you might be into it for a few bucks.
Yeah.
But that's why I always recommend people, when you're choosing what you're going to put in the show, make sure it's something that you would want to hang in your house.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's something that, it's not just for the show, because the chances are you're going to have to pick it up and do something with it. Yeah, so as far as putting a price on it, try and cover your expenses, cover the 30% that, Chris, if it were to sell, Chris was going to take 30% of it.
Yep.
But the club doesn't pay her to hang the show. So if she's going to get anything out of it money-wise, it does sort of bank on something selling, which is rare. So.
Well, it's the first time I've met her, and she gave us a discount because we were going to be in the show.
Oh yeah,
So,
she's fantastic.
it's win-win.
Usually if you just go in and tell her you're a member of the camera club, not that we have any deal in concrete with her, but I've talked to people who have gone there and just mentioned that you're a member of the Greater-Rochester-Camera-Club, and she'll take 10-20% off or something like that.
It was very, very nice.
Putting a higher price on it might improve the appeal of the photo too.
Yeah, if you tell, if
Really?
you say it's worth $1,000, just say it's worth $1,000.
Right.
$1,000.
Then it's $1,000 photo hanging on the wall.
That's
Add a little bit something for yourself, not just the what it costs you. You have to put a little something for you.
There
Yeah,
you
so
go.
say it costs you $100 to have it printed and framed and all that, and you're into it for $100. It's a nice even number.
Yep.
If it were to sell for $100, you're actually losing money because she's going to take 30%. So you have to put it at like 140 to break even, or thereabouts. So then, I would probably double the $100. So whatever you're into it for, double it. Is a good kind of a good frame of reference. I know people who are hanging it in higher end galleries and stuff where what they're in for it for, and then they're going to factor in the time they spent editing it and where their travel expenses to get it. And then they're going to factor all that together and then multiply it times 4, and that's what they're going to put on it. So it really, that's what I mean. There's so many different ways to do it. Just make sure you're covering yourself if you're worried about it.
So another question. Do you give her a list of?
Yeah, there'll be a master list made once drop off happens. So she'll have a list of, and she's going to make little stickers that go on the wall.
Yeah, but she's expecting a list from you, I think.
Yeah, she'll get one, but I don't know until everything gets dropped off. I don't have a list to give her. She knows that.
So what do? We tell you what we have and
I'll have
give you a price?
There's forms. We'll have forms when you come to drop off. There's a form you can fill out that's the title, size, price, all your contact information in case it were to sell. Yeah, so there's a form for you to fill out when you get there.
A
And then
bio?
from those forms, I make a master list and I give her the master list.
She'll want a bio of herself too.
She'll want what?
Wow.
A biography, a page of something about you.
Oh yeah, usually she wants some sort of like a little biography, just a quick one-page blurb about you and how you got into photography or anything you want to tell about yourself. Just a bio.
This is getting too complicated, Sean.
So not everybody remembers to do the bios. It's not a deal breaker. That's something that Chris likes to have. If you don't, it's not a problem. You can see like what everybody else brings for next time.
She already is going to have the pictures because she just got them today to frame. So we just have to go in sometime and fill out the forms.
Yeah, or I can email you the forms and you can, fill them out and email them back to me.
Okay, that would work, please.
Yeah, I'll email you the forms and just email me back the information that I need from the forms. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then, like I said, the opening reception for the show will be July 6th at 5 o'clock. And that's going to run from 5 to 6:30. And I know in years past, there have been times that we've gone out for cocktails afterwards. With COVID, of course, we did not. But I would probably be up for it if anybody wants to hit up the Revolution afterwards and go get a couple drinks. So.
Optional.
Tie's optional. Santa said tie's optional.
Oh, yeah, it's not exactly black tie. Yeah. And then the
Didn't
other
see it in his beard.
Star Island is July 31st. If you want.
I'll get something out to Asina so
Yeah,
she can.
so Lisa's been organizing that for us. She's been spearheading that one for us. So thank you, Lisa.
Welcome.
Couple of quick notes about Star Island. If you want to go, you have to purchase your own ticket. So go out to, we'll get the link up for Isles of Shoals, so you can order your ticket. If the boat sells out before you're able to do it, unfortunately, the boat's sold out.
The other thing we just found out too is you do need to be fully vaccinated to go on the trip.
That's Star Island.
Star Island's policy.
Yeah.
For
For
the
proof, so you have to bring your card with you.
Yep. So for the short trip, which is the 3.5 hour one on Saturday, they don't require it. For the extended stay, all day one, because you have more freedom around the island, they do expect you to be fully vaccinated. And I clarified with that the other day that it is in fact their policy, and it is.
It's a little surprising that they're still doing that, but it is what it is.
Yep. And I do believe it says it on the Star Island, the steamship company website. I do believe when you buy your tickets for that trip on Sunday, it will tell you that you have to be vaccinated. So they're probably checking it like when you get on the boat, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so. They're not gonna drive you all the way out there and find out you can't get on Star Island.
Yeah, so that unfortunately, that policy is in place for the extended trip.
So I'm not sure if that affects anybody or not, but yeah, those are rules outside of our control.
Right, that is their policy.
Oh, and I just wanted a quick welcome to Alan Dwyer. Alan's a new member, recently joined. He popped in here during the critique, I guess. I didn't notice him until I was trying to say hi to him when people pointed out that I was on mute. But yeah, I just wanted to know, Alan, what'd you think of the critique meeting? You're on mute as well.
No, I was a lot learned just from watching, and it's great to hear all the inputs. And so hopefully, once we get back to this in the fall, I'll have some good things for the rest of you. But just all the perspectives are real helpful. So,
All right, cool.
Welcome.
Yeah, so the next challenge will be announced sometime in August for September. And yeah, if you have any questions about the show, reach out to me. You can always reach out to me directly, and that's fine. Same thing with Star Island. If you guys have any questions about that, just reach out. But that's it for tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good
night.
Have a good summer.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.